So here are our ports. That's a pair, that's a pair, that's a pair, that's a pair. So we've got
obviously the out and return.
Yeah, so yeah, we call it a liquid and gas line, or high and low side, but essentially, yeah, flow and return, if you like. So you've got pair there, pair there, pair there, pair there. Each fan coil is made off to each individual pair set, and then the wiring here corresponds.
So is that a thermistor you've got on each line?
Yeah, that's a thermistor on each one, and then the black devices which are next to it, these are proportional expansion valves. So this is what controls the flow and the state of the refrigerant here. Those are proportional solenoids, so they in turn work in that same modulation principle we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
And here's our wiring. So you can see here we've got 5 sets of wiring blocks. This is our main power supply. So the way it works is we have main power coming onto this set of terminals here, and then each indoor unit is wired back to each corresponding set of terminals here. So the power to the indoor units is taken from the outdoor unit. And the way that works is we've got live and neutral, and then the third wire, which is 0 to 230 volts potential, is what carries our communications. So the outdoor unit and the internal units can correspond and send each other data.
This is a 240 volt or 230 volt
230
system.
volt, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not 110.
Yeah.
So this main supply coming in, certainly in the UK, as
this is a 20 amp
positive and negative, because it's a single phase unit.
Yeah, so this is a 20 amp supply onto this unit.
Just wait for the helicopter. Because we do like our helicopters.
We do.
So
talking about
might as well live in Heathrow, aren't we?
Yeah. So talking about Imperial and metric, in the UK, all of our refrigeration pipework is in Imperial, so it'll be the same for us as for the US.
So it's all in Imperial. It's all in quarters and thirds and shit.
Our top 2 line set pairs here are 1/4 and 3/8.
Wow.
And then we go up to 1/2 inch on these next sets here.
Why is that? Because I mean, normally, because these units are made in Germany, I'm presuming.
This unit is made in the Czech Republic.
It's in the Czech Republic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's made in Europe.
Yeah.
It's having Imperial measurements.
Yeah. Everything refrigeration related is still in Imperial, so we still work in Imperial. This is our large bracket. This is a 140 kilo capable bracket, so 300 pound bracket, finished in the same color as the Daikin unit, so it's color matched accessories. This is an Aspen bracket. We tend to use these Aspen brackets. They're the best quality. They're not incredibly expensive either, so you're better off just buying the best. The nice thing about these brackets on the large 140 kilo configuration is the hangers are nice and wide, whereas the smaller brackets are slightly narrower, so these give a really good purchase on the wall. Nice bracket to fit too. You've got the dimensions already marked out for the legs, so if you struggle with a tape measure or you're just working at speed, it's just really easy to set them out. And you've also got an integrated spirit level bubble as well. So let's get on and get this bracket put up. if you were to just have that level a minute, just for anybody who's going to be putting one of these up themselves, you'll notice that they're slightly leading edge high. And even if you kind of like jump on the front of them, they're always leading edge high. But when you actually put the load on, put the outdoor unit on, they will naturally crank back a little bit. So that's what these back feet are for, so we can actually jack it back up a little bit, okay? Don't worry, we've had helicopter, we've had lawnmowers, we've had saws, we've had drills, bin lorry times 2.
Yeah, it's been very quiet.
It's been a great day for YouTube, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say?
Did you two just rappel out that helicopter?
It does look like a bit like that, doesn't it? I mean, this is the modern SAS.
That's us. Save air conditioning services.
That was quick.
Right.
That was really quick, wasn't it? To be fair, yeah.
You've got to try,
He's
haven't
been
you?
practicing that all weekend.
I'm still trying
It's part of the Saturday and Sunday club.
You know.
What are you doing at the moment?
So this is doing line set preparation. So this is your refrigerant line set. So in here is the suction and the liquid line that we talked about earlier. And this is the weatherproof insulation. So this insulation's got 1/2 inch wall, so 13mm wall, so it's really high performing. This is weatherproof, so not only is it water resistant, moisture resistant, but most importantly it's UV resistant. Now these 00 class insulations, which installers typically use outdoors, although they're closed cell foam, UV will damage them. Within a year they'll be starting to craze, within a couple of years they'll be falling apart. So yeah, I tend to only use this on the inside. So is what I'm actually doing here is I'm preparing this line set to go through the wall. So where it transitions through the wall, I move it into 00 class because this is slightly thinner for the last mile, if you like. And then I compare this with the electric cable and the condens, which we'll picture in a minute. All right, so this is our line set prepared, ready to come through the wall. So we've got our cable, we've got our liquid. Sure. And here we are on the inside. Now you can see we put this line set through the wall at sort of about 35 degrees. This is because we've got a chimney breast on the other side. We wouldn't normally do that. So here again, we've got our refrigeration pipework, we've got our electrical control cable and our condensate line. And you can see, most importantly here, our condensate line is on the bottom. And when we dress this back, that condensate line will sit on the inside of the indoor unit level and flush with this bracket. It's important that that sits absolutely level into the unit, otherwise the condensate won't drain and you'll get a blocked condensate drain. Our liquid line and our gas lines are both marked on the back plate, and they are there. You can just see the end of it on that stamping and there. So we'll get those cut and get those flared. So this is our automatic flaring tool. So this is a torqued flaring tool. This is what puts our flare on the end of the pipe. And the nice thing about this one is it's got an electric adapter on it, so I can use my screw gun. You can hear the clutch letting go in there now. And my screw gun's just pressed the flare onto there. We'll just undo that. Back that away. You can see I've got a lovely 45-degree flare fit in there.
Shiny as you like.
That's on my suction side, and then on my liquid side we'll do the same. That's our 3/8 inch. This is our 1/4. So you've got all our sizes there: 1/4 inch, 5/16 we don't really use. 3/8 it's most are common, so 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, 5/8, and just up there 3/4. So we just slide this along to where we want it. The tool is indexed, so as you slide it across, you'll feel the detent pin lock into the index, and then you just clamp it on down. And inside here, you've got ribs which hold the pipe, and as you tighten the flaring tool down, those ribs stop the pipe from pushing out the press. And in the end of the tool, if I can show you, it's a bit difficult to see, but inside there is the press cone. So there's an eccentric cone fitted inside there, and as I tighten this tool down, it presses a flare fitting on the end. Nice and easy.
Lovely.
So this is our Nylog blue. This is thread sealant and lubricant. and we just put a tiny little wipe on the back and front faces of the flare. Be careful not to get it on the threads, because that'll over lubricate the fitting and you'll end up getting an adverse torque. You'll end up over torquing it because you're sort of greasing the threads, if you like. So we just put a little bit on the copper, just a little wipe. It's very greasy stuff. You only need a little smear of it, and it's really important to make sure those faces are absolutely clean. So I always take these units apart to fit them. Okay, so you can see there where we're going to make these two together. There's our 1/4 inch, there's our 3/8 inch. So we're going to pop those together now, and then we'll torque them up. So we want 17 Newton meters of torque on the liquid line and 33 Newton meters of torque on the suction line. Really nice to be able to go room by room and wrap all these up and just refit the covers, and the customer can put the furniture back. But I always like to keep the units loosely fitted until we do the nitrogen test, because although I do a timed nitrogen test and we make sure there's no leaks, I really do like the assurance of being able to go around and putting some non-corrosive leak detection fluid on these joints and actually see if we've got any physical bubbles there. I just like that check, I really do.
He's having a shower look. This is the shower cubicle.
Do you want some soap?
I'm a little bit damp.
Do you want some soap?
Some soap, yes. So first job, now that we've tightened all our unions up and made the system theoretically tight, is to do a 2-stage pressure and strength test. So we're going to put nitrogen into the system up to 10 bar. I'm going to leave that for 10 minutes. Now, ultimately, I want to achieve 30 bar. The reason I don't go straight up to 30 bar is because there's no point in wasting nitrogen. If I take it up to 10, leave it for 10 minutes, give it a couple of minutes to stabilize, obviously, then full 10 minutes. If there is any loss at all, there's no point in then taking it up to a full 30 bar test, because all you're doing is just wasting nitrogen. So 10 minutes at 10 bar, then we put it up to 30 bar. We'll probably actually leave this at 30 bar overnight and do all the checks on the flared unions on the indoor units as well, make sure they're okay. Once our tightness test is done, we'll vent off the nitrogen in the system and then put our vacuum equipment on. So we'll use our vacuum pump and gauges, and we will evacuate the system, remove all moisture, all matter, all air, anything that's non-condensable, i.e. everything apart from refrigerant. We will do a vacuum decay test, make sure that our system's holding vacuum. Subject to that being okay, then we'll release the refrigerant into the system, in this case our R32.
Put that up.
Oh, that looks
Right.
All right, day 5.
It is, and finally completed.
Yeah, it's been a big job, hasn't it?
Yeah, and do you know what? I couldn't be more pleased, to be
Okay.
honest with you.
Well,
It's
you
been
had
really nice.
you had one system up and running last night.
Yes, I
So
did.
this system was running last night. So this one's running 4. So you had your lounge, your 2 bedrooms.
Yep.
Yeah, and
I think it's the kitchen as well.
and the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So lounge, kitchen, and a couple of bedrooms working last night. So you kindly helped and put some of the units on your app. So you've now got the Daikin Onecta app.
That's
so
correct.
You've got control over the units on those.
I'll put an insert actually for those of you to see that. But
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah, and you've got localized remote controls for each individual unit, which, if you're like me, you probably won't end up using.
I think they've been put in the cupboard already, to be honest.
Yeah. So the other unit, the opposite side of the house, we'll picture separately. That's running 3 indoor units. That's another 2 bedrooms and also the main entrance hallway.
That's correct, yeah.
And that one we've just about half an hour ago, sort of got that one commissioned and up and running.
All up and running, and it's working wonderfully.
Yeah. And our hot water solution that we keep alluding to, yeah, we'll picture that one separately, and we'll do another piece with that. I think in a little while we'll stick to the Daikin.
Perhaps the next video.
Perhaps the next video we can talk about hot water.
Indeed.
And why you didn't go for heat pump technology. A little spoiler there, but something a bit different to the norm.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll put some footage up covering the other system and some of the pipe work and some of the indoor units and some of the other sort of bits and bobs related to the system. But I think we've gone over in general how the system operates, how it's going to work for you.
Yes.
So we're going to be invited back for a revisit in a month or so to see how you're getting on with it.
Yes, please do come back.
All right.
And I'm going to keep a record as well over the next month of its power consumption.
Yeah.
So I can gauge it against what we would have had same time last year.
Yeah.
With gas.
Yeah.
I know we are perhaps a little bit more in the benefit of extra heat because we're not as cold as we should be.
No, it's been quite mild, hasn't it?
It has been.
Yeah.
So I could probably put that more eloquently.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not as cold this year as it was last. So it's going to be a little bit of disparity. But yeah, we can certainly see what it's like. I'm aware that my energy consumption in the respect of electricity is going to go up compared to last year.
Yeah.
But it's the overall
the whole picture.
Exactly.
Gas and electric.
So we're not using as much gas, so hopefully that will compensate for the amount of electricity we'll be using.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm actually, it's these things just going on what happened over the last 24 hours with the heat that's generated from this.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable amount of heat.
Yeah.
And I can see that on the meter I've got behind me. We've used I wish I could see it. It looks like
it's about 10 kilowatts.
About 10 kilowatts.
That's including our commissioning runs as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's an interesting point to make, actually. Not all the systems we fit would have a small DIN rail mounted hardwired energy meter. Obviously, you've supplied those for your installation, and I've got those on my installation as well. And it was quite interesting because I compared the energy consumption, which is displayed in the Daikin app.
Yes.
To my hardwired meters.
And did they match?
And they were very, very close. I think one was 4%, one was maybe 4 or 5%. But they were really, really close, which is quite reassuring, really.
Strangely, I did exactly the same. And
right.
This is within, I don't know, 200 watts.
Yeah, okay.
So,
well, mine was done pretty much over a year. But the nice thing about the Daikin app is it tell you what your energy consumption is by room.
Yes.
And it'll tell you the energy consumption split between heating and cooling as well. So you can see your total cooling load over the year, and it's all graph based. You can do it by room or by whole house. It's really clever, neat app, actually. So it'll be interesting to see how you fare with that.
Indeed.
Alrighty.
Really impressed, really happy with the quality of the craftsmanship and work.
Thank you.
It's been fabulous having you here, and I'm so pleased that I've got this.
Thank you very much. Checking the post.
Yes, indeed.
All right, Mike. Well, thank you very much. Let's get cleared up and let's get going.
Yes,
cheers.
Indeed.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye. Apart from that, it bloody works too, which is really important.